If you're PCSing to Hunter Army Airfield or Fort Stewart within the next year, this video is definitely for you. Hi, my name is Nicole Moore. I am a real estate agent in the Savannah and surrounding areas with Real Broker. Today we're going to be talking about PCSing to Hunter Army Airfield or Fort Stewart and things you need to know if you're considering buying a home. I'm sure you're well aware, but we do have two Army bases here in the Savannah surrounding area. So the first one is Hunter Army Airfield, which is actually located in Savannah, and then Fort Stewart, which is located in Hinesville, Georgia. My very first thing I want to talk about is that make sure that you have hard orders for whatever base you're going to be stationed to. I've heard of many horror stories where people are in the process of buying a home when they get their soft orders, and then things end up changing as they always do. And if you're stuck in a contract and you don't have the right contingencies, you definitely don't want to be in that place. So make sure that you have your hard orders for sure before you end up buying a house. Something else I want to talk about is your BAH. So between Hunter Army Airfield and Fort Stewart, those amounts might be different for those two areas. So just want to keep that in mind whenever you're considering that going towards your mortgage payment. Another item we need to discuss is your VA loan. So if you're going to be purchasing a home, I highly recommend you use your VA loan. It's a 0% down. You really want to make sure that you're working with a lender that is familiar with VA loans, because if there's any type of eligibility requirements, or you have disability or anything that someone who has worked with a VA loan knows, you want to make sure that you're in the right hands. So I would definitely recommend working with a local lender and also working with an agent who's very familiar with the VA process as well. Surprisingly, even though we live in a military area, not every agent understands the military lifestyle, the VA loan, PCSing, any of those things. So make sure that the agent that you're considering working with has experience working with military buyers and VA loans. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of this discussion, which is the big question: should you buy a house? And the simple answer to that is it's up to you. But with the right guidance, I think you can definitely make that right decision. So if you're going to be deciding between if you want to purchase or rent a property, it really depends on a lot of factors. So your timeline, are your orders going to be for 2 years or less? If so, and you don't want to end up buying a house and turning it into a rental, then I would definitely say don't buy a house. But if your goal is to acquire properties throughout your military career and you want to build your investment portfolio, then I say definitely. Real estate is always a great investment. So if you decide to buy a house, you're actually kind of doing something called house hacking. So if you buy the house and you live in it for at least those 2 years as your primary residence, and you use your VA loan, which requires a 0% down, then when you go to your next duty station, you can use your VA loan again if you turn that previous property into an investment property. You can definitely also sell the house that you bought, even if you've only lived in it for 2 years. I do want to warn you that it is a risk that the home has not possibly appreciated that much over the past 2 years. So just keep that in mind. That also is definitely something that you can do, buy and sell. There's just a very high risk that you won't be able to recoup everything if you sell in a short amount of time.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Now keep in mind there are certain eligibility requirements that you only have a certain amount for the VA loan, so do keep that in mind. You have to talk to a lender about what that specifically means, but you can't continuously purchase homes using a VA loan with a 0% down after you run out of a certain amount of eligibility. I learned that when my husband and I bought our second home without selling our first home. So we had a specific spread of eligibility that we could use. In our second home, we actually ended up having to put a certain percent down because of the cost of it. So just keep that in mind. You can definitely do that, which is called house hacking. And it's a great way to get into real estate and to start building your investment portfolio if that's something that you're interested in. The next item I want to talk about, if you have made the decision that you do want to purchase, is how the heck are you going to buy a house from wherever you're at right now and you are going to be PCSing to Savannah or Hinesville? And the answer to that is that you want to work with an agent who understands what that looks like and buying virtually. My family and I have actually bought virtually before, and I've worked with tons of clients, military and non-military, that have bought virtually. And basically what that means is that you are relying on the real estate agent for the area that you're considering buying a home, and that the numbers make sense, the location makes sense, and you're able to see everything geographically on the map. The real estate agent can get videos, pictures, everything that you need to know about the house, and you can buy the house without ever seeing it. Is it recommended? Definitely not. If you can make a trip here before you put in an offer or before certain contingencies end on the contract, I definitely recommend that. But some people are just, they can't drive here every weekend, or they can't fly here every weekend, and if you're in another country, it's very difficult as well. So that's another thing as to why working with a real estate agent who understands those items is very crucial to this buying process. You want to make sure that you're working with someone who can communicate with you effectively, someone who's going to be honest, someone who's going to walk into a house, and if it smells like cat pee, then they're going to tell you that it smells like cat pee and not just try to get a sale. There are definitely a lot of factors that you want to consider if you're going to be buying a house, if you're PCSing to this area. So I hope this video was really helpful. My information is in the description bar. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. But I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys soon.